Unhealthy eating habits have contributed to a lot of health problems epidemic today. Health problems like diabetes, high blood pressure, osteoporosis, arthritis, cancer, health disease, and so on. The good news is, if you can control what goes into your mouth and your body, you will live your best. For what you put into your mouth determines how well or sick you live. You and I know that poor diet is associated with major health risks that causes illness and even death. So, by making smart food choices today can help you protect yourself from all these health problems. Our integrative nutrition health specialist, Miss Betty Olayinka Folani Akinlosotu, aka Buffer, wants to see you living your best without any health issues. She made this known in her program showing every Sunday on Healthy Living with Buffer TV. She tells us how our food choice affects our health and how we feel today, tomorrow, and in the future. If you are opting for optimal health, from fighting free radicals to living your way into a healthy and beautiful body, here are some things you must do. Eat a nutritious, healthy, balanced diet every day. Practice your daily exercise and take your supplements, especially vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, and chlorophyll to boost your immune system against free radicals that cause cancer and other diseases. Join us on this program every Sunday, 1:30 p.m. US time, 7:30 p.m. African time, and 6:30 p.m. United Kingdom time, where she educates on health and nutrition, as well as features professionals from various fields to sensitize you on wellness. See you there.
Welcome back to Healthy Living with Buffer, and thank you so much, our viewers, for joining us today. This is your program, Healthy Living with Buffer, live on your screen. I'm Betty Olayinka Folani Akinlosotu, aka Buffer. Let me tell you this. I began my wellness journey when I was eating junk. Immediately, I realized this. I began eating healthy and living a healthy lifestyle. After 3 months, I began seeing results, experiencing optimal health, and sharing with others the results of healthy food and the products. After some months, I decided I wanted to build and share with everyone and anyone the experience, beauty, and benefit of being healthy in all areas of life. Today, I am a wellness advocate. So, I and all our guests on this program, all we do is advocating for healthy living. Today, we will be discussing on Health Corner, health problems caused by stress. On interview segment, we will be discussing on healthy versus healthy relationship. And lastly, on nutrition segment, which is TAG, you are what you eat. We will be discussing natural way to reduce stress. Note this, healthy relationships allow us to express our individuality, both with and without our partners. It brings out the the best in us, and encourages us growth, especially if you are in a new relationship. Our guest on the show today is an American, a mentor, a teacher, a community leader, and activist. He is also an advocate for peace and human rights. She has worked the last 30 years educating the community around issues of intimate partner violence, domestic violence, family violence, and teen dating violence is Miss Wanda Best. After the break, we will bring our guests on the show today. And I'm pretty sure you can't wait to see who we have on the program for you today. So tighten your seatbelts and sit right to enjoy today's show. Stay tuned. We will be right back. Welcome back to the interview with expert. Our flyer says unhealthy versus healthy relationships, which means we're going to be talking deeply on relationships and how it affects our health. And there's no way we're going to mention unhealthy relationship and we will not see the cause to be violence. So in other words, what makes a relationship unhealthy is violence in that relationship, abuse, and so on. Now, before I introduce our guests, I want us to start thinking deeply how you have been seeing your own relationship, what your relationship is giving you. I want you to start thinking about it because I want you to ask questions from our guests on the show today. Many of us have been going through abusive relationship, abusive marriage. No doubt about it. There's no home that is perfect. And a lot of women only think they are the only one that experience this violence, this unhealthy marriage. No, men do get abused too. Yes, but it's because women get it mostly. That's why we are thinking otherwise, that we are the only one that get abused. Please, I want you to sit right and listen to our guest today. It is important we pay attention to every word that is going to come out from our guests on the show. This is the reason why I took my time to say this before our guest comes in. So I'm going to bring our guest in shortly, but let me introduce our guest to you because it's very, very important you know the background of our guest before we start asking our questions. So get your pen and paper and start writing your question for our guests. So let me begin by introducing our guest. You want to know more about this wonderful woman that we have on the program today. Miss Wanda Best is an American, like I said earlier. She has a master's degree in public administration, advanced certificate in not-for-profit management, another master's degree in urban studies, and a bachelor degree in psychology. In 2015, Ms. Bess was the chair of the Education Committee of Circle Number 4, NYC, that is New York City, participatory budget, representing New York City Council member Miller. In 2016 to 2018, she was a member of the District Committee of Council member Miller's office during participatory budget, Circle Number 5, Number 6, and Number 7. She works closely with local legislators in Southeast Queens, which includes senators and council members, to organize annual social justice art exhibits. For the past 19 years, Ms. Bess works with Volunteers of America of Great New York as a program director. Our guest is joining us. Let me just get her in. Like I was saying, our guest is on the show right on time. And we are in the middle of introduction before she joined us. Right now, our guest is Miss Wanda Bess. Presently, she works as community resource developer for Volunteers of America Domestic Violence Program, where she develops resources and writes proposals for 3 domestic violence programs. She is the founder and CEO of Heart Transforms Incorporation, a nonprofit organization formed to bring heart to communities of color using virtual hearts to communicate and educate about social justice issues in the community. Our focus is to distract young people from the crime generative factors in the community, which leads to criminal justice involvement, and to use virtual arts to facilitate healing for victims of abuse. Today, let's welcome on the program Miss Wanda Bess.
Thank you.
How are you, Miss Bess?
Yes, I'm great. And how are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm doing wonderfully in the Lord. How are you today? How's your weekend going?
And thank you so much for having me. You know, I'm very passionate about informing women about abuse and what's healthy and what's not healthy. So thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Before we go to the main topic, Ms. Bess, let's start by getting to know who Ms. Bess is. Tell us what you do in 60 seconds.
Oh, okay. 60 seconds.
Yes.
All right. I am a survivor myself of domestic violence, and I encourage all women that you do not have to accept abuse, that you can make a change and get out of it and get on with your life. You have a right to be treated fairly and to be in a situation where you feel loved. I am an artist as well, and I use my art to educate and communicate around the issue of social justice, not just domestic violence, but other social issues that impact us as well.
Wow, that's great. Thank you so much, Ms. Beth, for getting us acquainted with you. And we are blessed having you today on the program. Ms. Beth, many relationships start on a good note, but end up in tantrums because of irreparable issues. And this is because probably some, measures were not put in place to deal with all shocks and other issues that arise. In this sense, creating a healthy relationship that I know will become a very vital issue, especially in this area where breakups, are rampant. And I'm very sure you also agree with me that when we talk about unhealthy relationship, definitely we are definitely talking about violence because that's what makes it unhealthy for us. Ms. Best, I want you to tell us what are the types of relationship, the type of relationship that is considered unhealthy and healthy relationship.
All right. So let's look at unhealthy first. So we know what does not work. So if you find yourself in a relationship where there's power and control, where you feel like you're being, there are attempts to control you, then you need to examine, okay, what is actually going on here? Is there an intensity? The arguments or disagreements get more intense, more intense. These are signs. Is the person, your partner, very possessive? Want to know where you are every moment of the day, calling you, texting you, showing possessiveness, manipulation, where they manipulate you and make you feel like, am I going crazy? Is this really happening? These are all tactics used in an unhealthy relationship, and it's about power and control. They'll belittle you or sabotage. You're trying to work or you're trying to go to school, you're trying to better yourself, and they'll do things to disrupt that. They'll try to isolate you and keep you away from your family, because once that happens, then they have full control over you, and they can use power and control over you, and can go as far as immigration status.
Hmm. Wow. Can you tell us the causes or the signs to identify both? What are the causes?
The causes can be social, or the person is a narcissistic manipulator. So when you look at the social causes, the person, you could have a good relationship, but then somebody loses their job. Now, once the income changes, then the dynamics in the marriage is going to change. You can have another social issue is the person might drink alcohol. That's going to change the dynamics. Or the person begins to cheat or lie. All of these, there's so many contributing factors to what changes a relationship. There's not one thing. There's not just one thing that'll change it. Usually it is a collection of things that happen. What causes this is, especially now, you find that people don't take the time to get to know each other. When you meet the individual, like you said at the beginning, the relationship starts off great. However, as you get to know the person, or marry the person, or have children with the person, and the person becomes comfortable with you, then the mask falls off and you begin to see the real individual. This is not the person they present to you, but this is the person that they really are. And that's why it's important to have conversations, to talk, to get to know the individual that you're planning to bring into your life, because it's harder to get someone out than it is to bring them in, allow them into your life.
Wow. Wow. Now let's discuss the health implication of unhealthy relationship in humans' life. How does it affect our health?
All right. So far we've been talking about the unhealthy, and then afterwards we're going to talk about the healthy. So you'll have two impacts. You'll have a physical impact, and then you'll have an emotional impact. All right. Anytime you're in an unhealthy relationship where you've been called names or you've been put down, and cheating and lying and gaslighting is that's when they make you feel like you're going crazy, or say it wasn't me, or that didn't happen, or you just imagined this. You can do further research on these tactics to get more clarity. But gaslighting is very known. So the physical abuse we all know. All right. So you have broken bones or black eyes or uh, bruises. But now the emotional impact on your mental health is harder to detect. And it's even harder if the person, the victim, is not talking about
Okay.
it. You see, a lot of times women suffer in silence. And so let's not just say women, because men are abused as well. So we do
Exactly.
not want to forget that.
Mm-hmm.
So people who are in a toxic and abusive relationship, many times they don't talk about it because they are embarrassed. They are afraid to talk about it, afraid that the abuse may increase if they tell somebody and then it's out. You know, sometimes it's believed that these kind of issues should stay within the family and nobody should go outside to talk about it. And that's a myth, because as long as it's in the family, the victim cannot get help. They cannot get the help that they need. They cannot talk to someone that maybe have the resources to help them, or let them know where they can go to get help. The resources, that's very important. It's very important not to suffer in silence, but to talk about it, to talk about to someone you trust, because so many women lose their lives in abusive relationships.
Yes, that's
So
right.
you have they don't talk because they're embarrassed. And I can't believe this is happening to me. And oh, he's having a bad day. All these excuses in some cases are made to continue a toxic relationship. You see, when people get into an unhealthy and toxic relationship, what happens is they become emotionally attached to that person. And so when you become emotionally attached to that person, it's very hard to let go. And
That's
this
true.
is why people go back and go back and go back. And people will say outside that don't understand the dynamic of emotional attachment, that then why you still there, or why you keep going back, without understanding that it's not so easy to take your emotions back. Even though when you're being mistreated, it may sound crazy, but a lot of times there's still love there for that person. There is still a need to help that person, when the reality of it is you can't help them. Only they can help themselves change. You can only help yourself. All right. So lack of money and transportation will keep people in abusive relationships. Control over immigration, control over medical insurance, control over finances. These are all tactics that's used to keep people in abusive relationship. How does it affect your health? Over a period of time, the person can become depressed. So what depression does is it makes them feel like doing nothing. Okay, I'm just going to accept this situation that I'm in, and whatever happens, happens. So they stop caring. They emotionally detach from the situation, but in most cases, still emotionally attached to the person. And this is how the abuse continues. They will not take care of themselves. They, like, you may have a woman that get her hair done, her nails done, and dress nice, and then all of a sudden you see that she's not doing those things. That's a sign for anyone on the outside looking in. What's going on? Sometimes it takes a conversation. What's going on? Is everything okay? And you have that conversation with him or her. Also, with depression, you don't want to do the things that you enjoy. You want to sleep all the time. You either overeat, which makes you gain weight. And in some cases, then the abusive person is going to call you fat and all those ugly names, or you don't eat and they'll call you names skinny. So it causes you to step outside of who you really are. Now, another effect would be anxiety, where you feel anxious, where you fear that something dreadful is going to happen. You have anxiety, you have panic attacks, you have post-traumatic stress, and you usually experience that once you're out of the relationship. And so these are some of the psychological things that can happen to you mentally. As you know, and then the psychological can parlay over into physical illnesses such as asthma, which is psychosomatic and caused by stress in some cases. You can have diarrhea, stomach gastro disruption. You can have headaches, migraine headaches, and all of these symptoms are from what you're experiencing in a toxic relationship.
Wow. Wow, Miss Beth, you just unveil a lot of things that we think is not possible if we experience, on the toxic relationship. I just received one question from my WhatsApp. Many viewers, not all of them that want to be sending, writing stuff on social media. So this question is saying that um, the question is says, hold on. Okay. What would be your best advice for people who are in unhealthy relationship? Some people they don't want to leave, like you rightly said, that because of the emotional attach that they have with this particular person that is abusing them. So such people, what will you say to them to manage this environment?
Okay, first thing is I make suggestions only. It's up to the individual. Everybody knows their situation. Everybody knows how hurtful the situation is. So, a question to ask is, do I feel whole in this relationship? And do I want to spend the rest of my life living like this?
Mhm.
That's the key. It's up to the individual what strategy they use to free themselves from a toxic kind of relationship. To remain in that kind of relationship, you have to take your life back.
Mm.
You will have to take control over your life and what you want.
Mhm.
Because you already know what the relationship is. And you got to ask yourself, is this how I want to spend the rest of my life? And you work from there. Whether it's becoming financially independent, getting marriage counseling, seeing a therapist yourself to help you get stronger. A lot of people don't believe in therapy, but it works, especially if you have nobody to talk to.
Wow.
Therapists don't always prescribe medications. There's talk therapy,
Okay.
right?
Best, we are having, my goodness, on YouTube. Let me read the questions that I have right here. One question says that, Miss Best, the person first say, you're welcome on the program. God bless you, and great information from you. And the person says that, do abusers show any potential warning signs? That is one. I'm going to
Okay,
read the
one
question.
question at a time. I want to tell that person this.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. Yes. If they are possessive and they want to know where you are 24/7,
Mhm.
that's a sign That's a red flag. There, you have to have your own life. You know, you have your life, he has his life, and then there's a life you two share together. It's not you or his life or he or your life. So one, you got to take your life back. So the signs: isolation, don't want you with your family, don't want you with your friends, tell you that you can't live without him or her. All right, call you names, stop you from progressing.
Mm.
All right, those are just some red flags. And if you have your cell phone, now there's technology abuse where they need to know your password. They need to know your social media password. They need to be able to look at it and look at your phone. And that is abuse because your phone, social media is your private property.
Yes. Yes.
It doesn't mean if I don't show it to you, I don't love you. But an abusive person will say that, well, you must be hiding something. But will they show you theirs? That's, that's the question.
Wow.
Are they willing to do for you what they're asking you to do for them?
Hmm. You want me to go to the next question?
Okay. Yeah, because that's important. People, ladies and gentlemen, ladies, you got to look at the signs because they can be so subtle that
Wow.
you don't even know what's happening.
Good. Thank you, Miss Bess, for answering that question. The next question says that how can you escape domestic violence when when a child or children are involved?
Okay, that is an excellent question because when you stay in an abusive relationship and you have children, you are teaching your children how to be abusive. You are teaching your daughters how to accept abuse and teaching your sons how to abuse. Research show that males that grow up in abusive households are more likely to become abusers as adults, and females that grow up in abusive households are more likely to accept abuse when in their adult relationships. Why? Because abuse have been normalized. This is how people act when they're married. This is how people act when they're in a relationship. It's like everybody's
Thank you.
calling me now.
Yeah, they just Are you done?
So that's important. Let me finish about the children. So children that are growing up in abusive households have lower reading scores, lower math scores, higher dropout rates, higher rates of substance abuse, higher rates of criminal justice involvement than children who do not have that experience. So when people say, I'm staying here for the children, you're doing your children a disservice. You're doing more harm than good for them. All right. And we don't look at it that way. We want the mother and father together, regardless of what's going on in the household. But whatever's going on in the household have an impact on how those children are growing. What examples do they see? What models do they see as a husband and a wife or two people in a relationship? And they're internalizing this, and it's going to show up in their adult life. And also what happens to children is that they have difficulty creating interpersonal relationships. They will be the child that didn't make a lot of friends, and you have to have a social group in order to be connected in society. You see, so these are the kids that will have poor interpersonal skills. These are the kids that in some cases become the bullies in school. And so we have to be conscious of, one, how severe is the violence? If the woman is being beaten in front of the children, then the children need to be removed. The woman and the children, you might want to consider not being in that relationship or getting some type of family therapy to address the issues that's going on in that relationship. But keep in mind, you cannot change a person. A person have to be willing to change.
Wow, the question just came for what you said, that is it possible for abuser to change? So I guess you just answered that, right? Or you
Right.
have
They
to,
have to want to change. You can't change them. So get that out your head. You cannot change them. They have to see that this behavior is not good. This behavior is hurting my family. So I have to change, not the other person saying, you know, you need to change, you know, you need therapy, you know, this is wrong. No, it's okay if you say that, but that doesn't change them until they internalize the need to change. They may stop for a minute, but they can't keep it stopped because they haven't internalized the need to change.
wow, wow. The last question says, is it possible for an abuser to reconnect with abused?
You mean get back together?
Yes.
Too, okay, they left and then they go back. Now, when the person left, and this happens a lot, and it may not be the scenario that you're talking about, but in order to bring the person back, they make all these promises, baby, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it anymore. I love you. I want my family. And they'll do that. But a lot of times, and I'm not saying don't go back, I'm saying that majority of the times that that person did not seek the help that they need,
Mhm.
then that behavior is going to reoccur because it was never resolved. So you can leave and go back. But when you go back, you got to make sure that this person has changed and those behaviors that made you leave in the first time no longer exist, or they're getting help to control those behaviors. Now, you have to keep in mind too, if the abuser grew up in a family where there was abuse and women were disrespected, then more likely, like I said earlier, they're going to do that to in their marriage.
Mm.
So they are an adult, but a child coming out of a child that grew out of an abusive family life. So that individual is only doing what they see as normal in a relationship.
Mm.
And again, they're going to need to get help to come to terms with this is wrong. How do you break the cycle? Do I keep doing this? And now my sons and daughters are in an abusive environment and they are going to do it. When does it end? A lot of this stuff is generational. That's why you have to have a conversation. What was it like growing up? And they start talking about people was fighting and carrying on, then that's a red flag for you to let them into your life.
Wow. Thank you so much, Miss Best. All our viewers are sending messages on the, on YouTube saying, welcome on the program. And this is a nice program, nice discussion. God bless you for coming. And they pray for you. And I believe they all stay watching right now. So we're going to continue and go to the last questions right now. Now we've talked about unhealthy and healthy relationship, the consequences, the side effect, the impacts, both negative and positive. We've discussed that. Now the question is, and you also mentioned that men do get abused. So we don't want to go back there. Now I want you to tell us, how do we ensure this healthy relationship in our marriage? How do we build a healthy relationship? Is it possible to get it fixed before everybody go on their way or depart, separate? I mean, how do we build a healthy relationship, Ms. Best?
All right. So from day one, you have to look at the relationship as something that's built. And it's built on, you got the honeymoon period, that's going to end. All right. So while you're in the honeymoon period, you want to make sure, and we're going to go back and talk about each one individually, that there is mutual respect. Does this person respect me? Trust. Can I trust this person?
Wow.
Honesty. Is this person honest with me?
Hmm.
Is there a compromise? Is it not a one way all the time? But we talk about it and we compromise and we meet halfway. It's not going to be always one way and always her way or always his way. That's not realistic. And that creates resentment. Individuality, you have to maintain your individuality. If you're in a relationship, if you're building this relationship, and this relationship wants you to give up your identity to now move into their life, that's a red flag. You have to maintain your identity. We're going to go back and talk about that. Good communication. You got to be able to communicate about everything. You got to have those courageous conversations, because if there's something that you don't want to talk about, it's just going to be inside, fester, and grow and grow. It doesn't go away. You can't sweep it under the rug. You can't put it out your mind, because even if you don't think about it, it's in your subconscious mind. And once it's in your subconscious mind, it comes up, it emerges in your behaviors and your resentments. All right. So you have to be able to control anger. And you got to remember that anger, lack of control of anger, doesn't mean domestic violence. Okay. Lack of control of anger can mean two things. The person truly has a lack of control of anger, or they only have lack of control of anger towards women. And that's violence against women. All right. So remember that, because you'll have a situation where a person will get angry and it's a man and they act one way, but if it's a woman, they'll be ready to knock her out, punch her up.
Wow.
And that's the choice. All right.
Wow.
Fighting fairly. There's two more.
Mhm.
All right. Fighting fairly. You got to be able to have disagreements without being disagreeable. Being able to solve problems without it turning into an argument, and be understanding. And this is very important, because you may have a situation where a person grew up as the only child, married someone who had a large family. So when they have gatherings, they have large gatherings, but the only child family was very small. And so that person may feel kind of out of place and not socialized. And the person with the large family say, what's wrong with that person? You know, they antisociable. They didn't understand that this person didn't have that.
Mm.
Now they have that, you see. So that's just an example, understanding the other person. That's why you got to get to know. That is the key to a healthy relationship, is getting to know the other person. Not, I like how they look, or I like whatever, or I like how much money they got, what house or what car they drive, and all that. It's not about that, because all those things are trappings
Yes,
that can get you trapped into something that later you will regret.
that's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. I agree with you. Thank you so much, Miss Bess. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. I'm honored to have you on the show today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Viewers, I want you to please and please put your hands together wherever you are and give my guest a round of applause. Thank you so much, Miss Bess. And you can also contact Miss Bess for counseling, questions, and help. You can reach out to her through our website at www.arttransforms.org, or email at info@hearttransforms.org. You can also get another email, wanderbreast8676@gmail.com.
Yes.
Bringing this interview to a close, I would love to say
Thank you.
this to Miss Bess. God bless you.
Thank you.
And viewers, never wait to get things out of hand before trying to find solution to it. That's all Ms. Best has been telling us on this program, because it may be too late when you wait for that to happen, as the relationship could be irreparable damage. Also, don't get, listen to me, this is what I'm going to say, and it's very important. Don't be too conservative and adjust yourself to some changes. It is very important. And that's all we got today on Interview with Experts. Ms. Best, thank you so much again for coming on the program. I hate to say bye to my guests, but I'm going to tell you, I'll see you. Viewer,
Tell me
before
how to
you
get
go,
off. Tell me how to get off. I know you told me something before.
just exit.
Do I click leave?
Yes, leave.
Okay.
That's it. That's what you do. Thank you so much.
All right, thank
Best
you.
is coming back. Coming back
back
on manipulative behavior in relationship next month. So watch out for that. We're going to bring her back next month.
All right. Bye.
Thank you, Ms. Best.
Okay.
Bye. Thank you. God bless you. Viewers, let's take a break. When we return, it's our Health Corner. So stay tuned and enjoy the show. Welcome back to Health Corner. Today, we want to talk about obesity as one of health problems caused by stress. First, I want you to know that stress, especially chronic stress, can cause weight loss or weight gain due to its effects on bodily processes. Stress affects the production of stress hormones and the GI system, which can lead to changes in appetite and metabolization. You can use a variety of self-help techniques to decrease stress if you are experiencing stress. Before we talk about self-techniques to decrease stress, let's talk about how stress affects obesity. Stress can cause obesity to spiral out our control. To fly out our control. If you are struggling with obesity, being under stress can cause you to continue to gain weight. It can reach the point where the weight gain can get out of hand. Definitely it can happen. There's nothing you can do to that. Stress is one of the key factors impacting on the pounds, gaining weight. Believe it or not, there's nothing you can do to that. Now, what are the health consequences of being obese or overweight? First, being overweight can have a negative impact on your health. And our guest, remember, Ms. Best mentioned that we can gain weight if you are depressed. You can have sort of health problem, which obesity was one of the health problems she mentioned. And some of these negative health, effects of being obese or overweight includes high blood pressure, high cholesterol, arthritis, kidney disease, and breathing problem. Therefore, Being overweight or obese can have a severe impact on our overall health. Now, let's talk about self-help techniques to decrease stress. Number one of the most effective ways to activate the relaxation response is to decrease the heart rate. Seriously, we can voluntarily alter our pulse. More tangible measures are also needed. I want you to notice this, that a rapid heart rate can be lowered with deep breathing techniques. So you're gonna do what I call diaphragmatic breathing. Diaphragmatic breathing is what you do when you sit down. There's no time to actually practice it, to show it to you right now. Maybe next time on the program, I'll be able to show what diaphragmatic breathing is. So number two, if you want to increase your own emotional comfort, it is imperative to practice measuring and realistic self-talk. I want you to know that. When you feel anxious, please practice these phrases. I'm going to tell you phrases like, these feelings will pass me. Yes, it's a positive talk. It's a positive message. I'll get through this. I'm safe right now. I'm feeling anxious now, but I have the power to make myself calm. I can feel my heart rate showing down. These are called positive self-talk. You're saying something positive to the stress inside of you, and you are increasing your emotional comfort. Third thing you want to do is you want to do muscle relaxation. You also want to do this following things. Number one, you want to get moving. Maintaining a regular exercise routine. It's very important when you are going through stress. This type of exercise has been proven to reduce stress. Get moving. Maintain a regular exercise. Healthy, non-obsessive exercise. So keep moving. That's your sexy body, your cute body, that's your muscle. Keep moving them. Don't sit in one position. Do exercise regularly. Another thing you want to do under muscle relaxation, you want to get more sleep. Get more sleep. And the last one I'm going to mention, you want to eat healthy. And that will take us to nutrition segment. Let's quickly, because of our time, let's quickly run through what we can do to reduce stress naturally. When I say naturally, that means you're not going to see the doctor, you're not going to be on medication, or you're not going to be on surgery. That's natural. Now, you want, like I mentioned, you want to sleep right. You want to get at least 7 hours of sleep. Very important. And also, you don't want to sleep more than 9 hours. Take note of that. If you are going through stress, get at least 7 hours of sleep and don't sleep more than 9 hours. You want to exercise right. You want to focus on eating hormone balancing food and anti-inflammatory diet. This type of diet should include tomatoes, olive oil, green leafy vegetables such as spinach, kale, collard green, shoko, tete. Jute leaf, you call it ewedu. You also want to eat fatty fish. like salmon, mackerel, tuna, and sardine. These foods are good for anti-inflammatory. You also want to eat fruits such as strawberry, blueberries, cherries, and oranges. Your broccoli and your lentils also good for anti-inflammatory and other things. Next thing you want to do, you want to stick to unprocessed food. I say this all the time. Those processed food are those things that are damaging our body. So please stick to unprocessed food that are high in fiber, antioxidants, and phytonutrients. When you are limiting this processed sugar, caffeine, and alcohol, it is very important. You also want to use essential oil. If you are going through stress, essential oil like myrrh, bergamot, lavender to your skincare. Add them to your skincare routine. When you want to sleep, drop a little, drop in your water and do bubble baths. Or just if you don't have bathtub, you can drop it in your water and shower with it. They are very good in calming down stress. Please do. They also improve sleep quality and digestive functions. You also want to laugh. And this is very important. That's why you see me laughing. You see, when you are going through stress, if you don't laugh, your face will be wrinkled. You look haggard. You won't look so sexy and beautiful. Laugh brings beauty to your face. It is very important. Let's start doing this. It's something that will make you look more beautiful, relaxed, healthy. Laugh all the time. If you don't see anything that will make you laugh, put on music, put on movie that will make you laugh. Look at those comedy movie, you will laugh. Another thing you want to do, you want to practice mental health every morning. How do you do this? Surround yourself with good people. People that make you happy, people that add value to your life, people that cherish you. If I want to laugh, I know who to call. If I want to talk about business, I know who to call. If I want to talk about romantic things, I know who to call. I know who to talk to when it comes to surrounding myself with good people. You need to do this. Surround yourself with good people, quality people, people that can make you happy. You also want to value your own self-worth. Give yourself respect. Have self-esteem, confidence in your own worth or your abilities. You want to set a realistic goals. And lastly, you want to know your resources. So I want you to take note of all we discussed on the program today. Put it into practice. Another thing you can do is you want to stay hydrated. You want to be taking deep breathing. You're going to get in the sun. You want to supplement your body system with magnesium. And lastly, you want to spend time daily in prayer. That is very important because some people will be going through stress that is caused by spiritual problem. So you want to spend time daily in praying and talking to your God. So the bottom line is when your body is in a chronic state of stress, it breaks down protein to prepare for battle. But certain food have the ability to moderate the body level of cortisol, the stress hormone. So eating healthy reduces stress. Do the necessary. That is all we can give on healthy living with Bofa today. I wish you all safe and good health. Please contact us on our social media handles at Instagram, Healthy Living with Bofa, Facebook, Bofa Life Healthier. And our website is www.hlwbofa.com. You can also reach out to us for any inquiry, advert, promotion, health-related issues, or questions at +1 917 889 6854. WhatsApp only on that number. I love to say, God bless you all for joining us on the program today. Until next week, we meet. We come back on this program. I want you to stay healthy, stay safe, and be well. Next week, don't forget to join us. We're still on the program. And I believe we all meet next week to see the glory of God. I'll see you next week by God's grace. God bless you. God bless me. Bye.